Hey everyone, it's Caito, and today we are back playing some more Palworld. And I'm so excited because today we are working on an elevated deck area. And I do have a tip that I want to share with you about how to create some railings if you decide to make any kind of porch or deck on your base. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I already have the spot picked out that I want to make this deck area. And it really stemmed from me wanting to build something into these cliffs because a lot of the space on my first base is basically just unusable unless I build these foundations out. I also just think it's an area that could add a lot of visual interest and end up looking really cute. So this is what we're going to work on today. I just have some basic wooden foundations placed down. I'm going to add a little staircase and I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the tip here for creating some railings. And you gotta kind of stick with me because at first it doesn't look very great. I'm gonna be honest with you, but you just have to trust the process. Once you place enough of them, I promise it's going to look like a railing, okay? You need to grab the wooden benches, and I'm actually going to start from the corner of the deck. There is a little bit of trial and error here because sometimes I'll start in one position and place all of the benches down, and then there's just too much of a gap. So then I have to start it with the bench lined up to the other side of the foundation and see if that gap is any different, if it looks any better. You also kind of have to fiddle around with getting it as close as possible to the bench next to it. You want the tiniest little gap between here. So I typically try to place it starting with it red and then just kind of move my character over until I get into the blue. And then I'm kind of looking at the base of the bench to make sure that they're pretty close to being in alignment. It's hard to get these things exactly perfect, but just do your best, get them as close as possible. So you're just gonna wanna take these benches, you're going to line the entire outside of whatever porch or deck area you've created. So in addition to this deck, I also have a porch that goes around my entire house. And this is something I could add to that if I did want to have a railing around all of it. I do like to place them all down first before I actually build anything, just so I can kind of visualize it. And then I go through and I kind of build everything all at once. But then when you run down here, you'll see that it does indeed look like a railing. Now, I think the illusion isn't as great, obviously, when you're up on the same level with the bench item because, I mean, it really is a bench. But when you're lower, I think it really does look like a railing. I love the way that it looks. And I do think that there are ways to make it look even more seamless. So I'm going to continue working on this area. I plan on placing some more things down. I think sometimes the more stuff that you put around it, the better it looks because you're not only focused on that railing. It just adds a lot more to the space instead of just having those benches right there. Because of the placement of this specific area, I don't really think it's going to be an ideal location for my pals to access. It's kind of on this rocky terrain, and I do want to add a second tier to it. I don't know exactly how I'm going to get that to work yet, but I think it's going to be more of just a visually interesting, cute area to look at. Maybe I'll put some workbenches or something for me to use, but not for the pals to use. So I'm just adding some different storage crates. I've decided I'm going to put this food basket up here just because I like to use it as an actual item and not only for a food basket. This might be a bad idea because I think sometimes the pals will try to put food in places that you don't want them to. However, they have the other one that's down right by the farms that I have, so I just don't foresee them coming all the way up here. I'm also obviously going to be adding lots and lots of plants. These plants are my favorite items to use, and I'm really hoping that whenever Palworld gets its first update, that we get some more items because I cannot tell you how many of these same plants I have all throughout my base. Like, how many different ways can I place the same 3 plants? So now I'm trying to place this second level and it's just not working exactly how I want it to. I really want it to be at a slight diagonal compared to the other one. I know that that's not everyone's cup of tea, but I really like things to be not exactly perfect, not perfectly lined up all the time. So I'm really trying to get the foundation up top to be at a slight diagonal and then the stairs coming down to meet the other one underneath it. But because of the way these foundations are below, it's just not letting me build these stairs. I put some foundations up, I added some walls because I thought that maybe I could just have this kind of elevated section behind what I'd already built. And then I had planned on putting some railings along the front, but I actually hate the way it looks, and this tree is blocking me from putting another wall here. At least I think it's the tree, but I don't want to cut the tree down. So I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to keep trying the foundation thing with the stairs because I just really want it to work so badly how I have it in my mind. I finally got the stairs to turn blue. It's not exactly where I wanted it to be because there is kind of this big rock in the middle of it, but it's fine. I'm going to accept it. I like the way things kind of clip through and it looks like it's grown into the edge of the cliff here. I wish it was a little bit further out, but it's just not letting me do that. So we're accepting it for what it is. I'm going to continue building. I've just got to decide how big I want all of this to be, especially on this second level, what I want it to look like. There's just a lot of decisions now that I've finally gotten it to work. Now I am using the same bench railing technique that I did on the first layer. I still want this to feel like a deck and I want it to be open, but I also am just really unsure of what I'm going to put up here. I do think that it looks really cute from down below, so I'm really happy with the way it's turning out, but I just have to figure out what I want to place. All throughout the time that I'm building these types of areas, I'm constantly going back and forth just from viewing like what I'm seeing up close compared to what it looks like further away. So as I've been going up and down the stairs, I really just think I've been missing a foundation piece on the other side of the staircase on this lower section. So I am going to add some foundation there, and then I'm going to have to add some more railing. It's not going to let me place a foundation piece underneath the staircase that I already have built or underneath the foundations that I have. But my plan is to just find something to decorate in front of there to kind of block the view of that. So it won't be a big deal, I don't think. Okay, I added the benches for the railing, and then I've just decided I'm going to put a cluster of barrels on this side. I kind of like the storage vibe that I have going up here. I've got the crates on the other side. None of this is going to be intentionally active storage. Like, this isn't really a storage area for me. I just like to use those items for decoration. And I just kind of like the idea of this patio or deck space that has all of these storage options. I'm also obviously adding some more plants to this space. One of my favorite things to do with the plants is to make sure I have them at all different levels. So if you're ever creating an area with the plants, just remember that you can place them on top of basically anything. So I've got a plant on top of a barrel. I decided to put one on top of the stool in the back, just so you can see kind of the top of it. So use the stools to your advantage. Make sure you're stacking things, putting them at different heights, because there are a lot of different ways that you can use these plants actually. I'm also going to be adding one of the rugs up here, just because I felt like this wood area needed something to break it up a little bit. I'm actually going to add the pal gear workbench right here because this is one that the pals don't really ever help with. I also think it's one of the cutest workbenches just because it has the little book on it and it has the kind of tablecloth draped over it. I do wish that it didn't constantly have like the HUD overlay over it. I don't feel like it's really necessary for it to constantly say no items in the queue. Like, sure, let me know when I have something actively in there, like if I haven't picked it up yet or if I still need to craft it, but I don't need to know that I don't have anything in there. You could just let me know when something was in there, right? I think I finished the lower portion of the deck, but now I need to start working on the second level, and I'm really struggling to figure out what I want to put down here. All right, after scrolling through everything that I have for probably like 10 minutes, I decided that it was just too big of an area for what I wanted this to be. I took out the foundation pieces of the back, so I just made it a lot more shallow. I'm adding the railing across the back, and now I just have a lot smaller of a space to figure out what I want to do with. I do think over here on the right, I want to have some kind of collection of barrels, maybe even the wooden barrel shelf if I can get that to place somewhere. I think it'll balance out the ones that I have on the first level, and I think it'll look really nice. I got the shelf to place, and now I'm just adding some individual barrels here as well, and I think this looks really cute. It also adds a little bit of height, which I think this spot was desperately missing. That's one reason that I really didn't want that tree to have to get chopped down, because without the walls, finding things to add height does get to be kind of difficult. After adding a bunch of the plants over here, I really like the way this little corner turned out. I think it's super cute. Last thing I need is just something to fill in this left side over here, and I actually think I'm gonna add a workbench up here. And because I decided to make this so shallow, I'm just gonna take out one piece of the railing and put the workbench so it's right up to the edge of the platform, but it's still gonna feel like it's blocked off because you can't actually access it from any other way than from coming up these stairs. Workbench is placed. I've also placed some flowers around this as well because obviously you have to. And after those final touches, my deck area is all finished. I love the way this turned out. It was actually super easy to do. Like once I got the foundation pieces set, this is something you could easily incorporate onto your own base, especially if you're someone who has these cliff sides around you and it's kind of limiting your workspace. You also obviously have the ability to make it a lot more functional than I did. But I think this looks really nice. I love using the benches as railings. I think the illusion really does pay off with this one. And it's the perfect solution until we actually get some kind of railings or fencing in the game. I hope y'all enjoyed this simple deck build. Let me know if you plan on using the benches as railings in your base, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!